Lil Tay is officially the biggest creator on the Blue site after claiming to make $1 million in just 3 hours. But the math behind her overnight success is starting to fall apart under the weight of her own history. When the world first met the youngest flexer of the century in 2018, she was a 9-year-old girl jumping out of exotic cars and throwing stacks of cash in Los Angeles. Now, she is back, claiming to be freshly 18 and breaking every financial record in the spicy content industry. The expectation being sold to millions of fans is a story of a child star reclaiming her narrative and her fortune. However, the reality hidden behind the spreadsheets and the leaked agency strategies suggests a much darker manipulation of dates, legal loopholes, and a desperate push for a payout that might not even be legal. We have to ask 3 core questions that the industry is currently trying to bury. First, if the birth records and her own 2018 interviews are accurate, is she actually old enough to be on the platform? Second, how does a creator generate $1 million in 3 hours when her social media engagement numbers suggest a much smaller active buying audience? And third, who is actually running the keyboard for the account that is currently being marketed as a secret from her own mother? To find the truth, we have to look past the flashy screenshots and follow the money trail that started years before this account was even a thought. This is not just about a viral moment. It is about the intersection of child stardom, predatory management, and the high-stakes world of adult industry finance. Per an article published by Lad Bible on August 18, 2025, the creator known as Tay Teen allegedly shattered the records previously held by creators like Bad Babby and Bella Thorne. The claim was bold: $1 million in the time it takes to watch a long movie. But the first red flag isn't the money, it's the volume of the transactions and the logistics of the platform itself. To hit $1 million in 180 minutes with a standard subscription price, you need an influx of traffic that would typically crash the payment processing servers of even the biggest platforms. According to industry analysts tracking the traffic on August 4, 2025, the surge in link clicks from her TikTok and Instagram did not align with the conversion rates seen by other top-tier creators. This leads to the first major revelation in the reality of this launch. The record-breaking numbers were allegedly padded by high-ticket founder tips and pre-arranged agency buys designed to create a viral headline. In the industry, this is known as a pavement play. An agency will use their own capital to inflate the initial earnings of a creator to trigger news coverage. They aren't losing money, they are investing in a headline. They know that the headline of making $1 million will drive 10 times more actual traffic than a standard quiet launch. If the agency drops $200,000 in tips to the creator's account, they lose a percentage to the platform, but they gain millions of dollars in free PR across every major news outlet. This wasn't just a girl with a camera. It was a coordinated financial strike by a team that understands how to manipulate the algorithmic cycle of outrage and envy. This brings us to the most shocking point of this entire timeline, which centers on the math of her life and the legal liability of the platform she is using. Around the 3-minute mark of this controversy, we have to look at the 2018 receipts. In an interview with Good Morning America that went viral across the globe in mid-2018, the creator explicitly stated she was 9 years old. Her mother, sitting right next to her, did not correct the record. If we do the simple math from June 2018 to August 2025, the numbers only add up to 17 years old. Per the leaked registration documents discussed by several industry whistleblowers in late 2025, the platform requires a government-issued ID that must be verified against a live selfie through a third-party service. This is where the story gets incredibly complicated for everyone involved. According to a report from a major tech outlet on December 20, 2025, there is a growing concern that the birth date used for her 2025 registration contradicts the age listed in her family's previous court filings during her 2023 custody battle. In those legal documents, her father and mother fought over her future, and her birth year was a matter of public record. If the platform allowed a creator to sign up based based on a disputed or recently updated birth date, they aren't just facing a PR crisis. They're facing federal legal action regarding the protection of minors in adult spaces. The reality is that the Freshly 18 branding isn't just a marketing hook. It is a legal shield that many believe is made of thin paper. The discrepancy suggests that her management may have aged up the persona in the public eye to ensure they didn't miss the window of her peak viral relevance. In the industry, every month of delay is a month of lost revenue, and for a management team looking for a massive exit, waiting an extra year for a real birthday might have been seen as an unacceptable financial risk. The next layer of this mystery involves the death hoax of 2023, an event that many now believe was the first stage of the adult industry rebrand. At the time, the world was told she had passed away in a tragic accident, only to reappear 24 hours later, claiming her account had been compromised. Per insiders speaking to industry podcasts in September 2025, that entire event was a timeline reset. By creating a massive wave of confusion around her life, her health, and her age during that period, the management team allegedly sought to scrub the 2018 9-year-old narrative from the digital record. When she returned, the focus was no longer on how old she was, but on the fact that she was alive and making music. This psychological pivot allowed the agency to reintroduce her as an adult much faster than the calendar should have allowed, because the public's memory of her age had been fractured by the chaos of the hoax. We see this in the marketing of her Blue Site account, which used the provocative bio, "Please don't tell my mom." This is a classic industry tactic used to infantilize the creator to attract a specific high-spending demographic of fans who are drawn to the rebellious daughter trope. It's a calculated move to maximize clout by leaning into the most uncomfortable aspects of her childhood fame. By positioning her as someone doing something forbidden, the agency increases the perceived value of the content, even if that content is no different from what you would see on a standard Instagram page. According to legal analysts following the class action lawsuits against major agencies in late 2025, this brings us to the question of who is actually talking to the fans in those high-priced direct messages. The Lil Tay account has been noted for its high-frequency messaging, responding to thousands of DMs within seconds, often at all hours of the night. As we've seen in the recent lawsuits involving Unruly and other management firms, the reality is that the person behind the screen is rarely the creator themselves. Per the court filings from the Chatters lawsuit, updated in December 2025, large-scale agencies hire fleets of men in overseas call centers to impersonate female creators. These workers are given a handbook on the creator's voice, in this case, the aggressive, flexing tone Tay became famous for, to manipulate fans into spending hundreds of dollars on exclusive photos that are actually mass-distributed to thousands of people at once. When a fan thinks they are supporting a young woman finding her independence after a traumatic childhood, they are actually funding a corporate machine that takes up to 80% of the revenue. The expectation is a personal connection with a star. The reality is an automated sweatshop of spicy content, where the creator is often just a face on a billboard, disconnected from the actual business of the account. This practice, while common in the industry, takes on a much darker tone when the creator is someone who has been under the thumb of intense management since they were in elementary school. The financial risk here is also massive and could lead to the eventual collapse of the account. Per banking reports from the fourth quarter of 2025, the Lil Tay launch saw one of the highest rates of chargebacks in the history of the platform. A chargeback occurs when a fan realizes that the record-breaking content was largely repurposed from her music video shoots, or was not nearly as explicit as the scandalous marketing suggested. Feeling cheated, they began filing for refunds with their credit card companies. This is the relink hack of the industry. Agencies overpromise in the DMs to get the initial payment, knowing that by the time the refund is processed, they have already moved the funds through several layers of corporate accounts. This leaves the creator, the face of the brand, to deal with the banned status and the legal fallout, while the agency disappears with their management fee. The $1 million she supposedly made might not ever actually hit her personal bank account. Because of the massive financial reserves, the platform has to hold against these fraudulent transactions. In many cases, the creator ends up owing the platform money for the processing fees of the refunds, creating a cycle of debt that keeps them tied to the agency for even longer. Beyond the immediate financial drama, there is the issue of the content itself and the safety of the industry. Per a statement from an industry watchdog group in October 2025, the use of childhood fame as a springboard into adult work is creating a dangerous precedent. The marketing for this specific account leaned heavily into the Tay is back narrative, but it purposefully blurred the lines between the child character and the adult person. This is a strategy designed to capitalize on the nostalgia of the audience that grew up watching her flex, but it ignores the psychological impact on the creator, who is essentially being asked to play a role her entire life. According to the leaked contracts discussed in late 2025, these management deals often include clauses that prevent the creator from speaking out about their true age or their true feelings about the content they are producing. They are locked into a character, and the millions of dollars serve as a golden cage. If the creator tries to leave, the agency can threaten to leak the very receipts that would prove the age discrepancies, effectively ending their career on the platform and potentially causing legal issues for the creator herself. As we look at the summary of this entire era, it becomes clear that the Lil Tay story isn't about a triumphant comeback. It's about a loophole and the exploitation of a brand that was built on a foundation of confusion. The impact on her career has been a total shift from a viral sensation to a lightning rod for regulation. The industry is currently tightening its verification protocols because of the massive public and legal backlash from this specific case. We are seeing a movement toward requiring secondary verification of birth certificates and school records for any creator who was a public figure as a minor. The insider takeaway here is that in the world of the blue site, the most impressive numbers are often the ones that are the most fabricated. High-profile payouts are used as bait to lure in the next wave of creators and fans. But when you look at the receipts, the math almost never adds up. The agencies win, the platforms take their cut, and the creators are left to handle the consequences of a timeline that doesn't make sense. If you want to understand how this game is really played behind the velvet rope, you need to see the patterns. To see how other major stars have had their timelines manipulated and their earnings drained by the same agencies who specialize in turning child stars into adult industry assets, you need to watch the Velvet Rope Industry Secrets playlist next. The game is rigged, and the receipts we've uncovered today are just the beginning of the reveal.